Hi, my name is Reverend Shuji Komagata, and welcome to the Soto Mission of Aiea.
Located along the shore of Pearl Harbor on the island of Oahu is the Soto Mission of Aiea, also known as Aiea Taiheiji. It's a small and quaint temple with a very rich history that spans more than a century. In 1918, Taiheiji was founded to serve the Aiea sugar camp community on the island of Oahu. The presence of Soto Shu in Aiea began much earlier in 1904 in a residential home on the Aiea sugar plantation. The early congregation largely consisted of workers from the Aiea sugar plantation, which gave permission to the members to build a temple on plantation land leased at very favorable terms. Under the leadership of Reverend Mokuryu Tsuda, efforts to begin the construction on a temple began in 1918. In 1920, while the temple was still under construction, 13,000 plantation workers went on an island-wide strike to demand better working conditions and pay. C. Brewer Sugar Company swiftly retaliated against the Aiea workers by confiscating the land and the temple before it was completed, and it allowed construction of the building to resume only after the strike was settled. On July 8, 1921, Archbishop Sekizen Arai of the Soto-shu headquarter temple Sojiji in Japan visited the site of the Aiea temple being built and encouraged members to complete the construction. He wrote a poem on a fan marking his visit, and it still is preserved at Taiheiji today. It reads, "The compassionate gate of the Buddha's world is absolute. Believers and the Buddha are one. This is true happiness. The Buddha's abode is everywhere, and the propagation of Buddhism has already begun." On the 4th of July in 1924, Archbishop Arai, along with Abbot Gempo Kitano of Eiheiji, granted the Aiea temple the honorary mountain and temple names Shinjuzan and Taiheiji. A grand celebration was held at the temple. Under the leadership of the second resident minister, Reverend Kogan Yoshizumi, and his wife, Mrs. Taki Yoshizumi, Taiheiji experienced many years of growth and happiness. A groundbreaking ceremony on February 9, 1964, marked the beginning of the construction of a new temple to replace the old termite-eaten structure. In 1966, a celebration was held to dedicate the new temple. More than 50 years have passed, and many resident ministers have come and gone, but Taiheiji still stands proudly as a permanent fixture in the Aiea community. The present temple is constructed in the modern house of worship style in solid and patterned concrete block. A seated Jizo statue from the tropical Bonin Islands some 600 miles south of Tokyo is enshrined to the right of the stairway. The outer sanctuary is noted for its distinctive ceilings that locals call the kamaboko ceiling because its curved form resembles the kamaboko fish cake. Let's go inside the temple to discover the beauty and richness of what makes Taiheiji so special. This embroidered image of Kannon-sama, dedicated in 1956 for the perpetual remembrance of victims of war, was made from threads intertwined with 5 strands of hair from each woman of the Fujinkai. An impressive object in the outer sanctuary is a life-sized bronze statue of the 11-headed Kannon. Originally cast in 1796 by Fujiwara Naotane, the Juichimen Kannon was later donated to this temple in 1955. It stands atop a lotus pedestal and is backed by an openwork halo of lotus flowers amid swirling clouds. The refined castings display delicate details in the 11 heads, the miniature Buddha atop the headdress, and the fine relief of jewelry hanging from the neck and waist. The inner sanctuary is raised and framed by pillars that for special occasions are covered with dramatic gold and black brocades with dragon motifs. A particularly splendid gilded canopy flanked by two ceiling pendants hang above the front altar and bathes the ceremonial area in a golden glow. These gilded pendants and canopy, topped by dragon heads, were restored a few years ago. The altar is a three-tiered, brocade-covered platform enshrining an image of Shakyamuni Buddha in meditation. The side altars display a three-dimensional sculpture of Dogen dressed in plain robes and holding a whisk, and Keizan wearing elaborately painted robes and holding a scalloped-edged lecturer's staff. The small room to the left of the inner sanctuary is home to the Kannon-do, one of the major projects of the Soto Mission of Aiea's recent 100th anniversary celebration in 2018. Housed within this room are 33 wooden carvings of Kannon-sama. The Lotus Sutra describes Kannon as a bodhisattva who appears in 33 different forms in order to teach the Dharma to sentient beings. Taiheiji's Kannon statues are directly based upon the original drawings of the book Kyōzui, a book of Kannon drawings from 1783. The book Kyōzui was chosen because of its unique interpretation of each of the 33 Kannon. Each statue is carved out of hinoki, or Japanese cypress wood. Hinoki is lemon-scented, light pinkish brown, with a rich, straight grain, and is highly rot-resistant. Spanning a period of over 2 years, all 33 statues, as well as the larger and central Sho Kannon, were hand-carved in Japan and were sent to Hawaii one at a time. Also in the Kannon-do is a lovely small Jizo wearing elaborately painted robes. The columbarium was built by temple members, many of whom were skilled carpenters by trade. These dedicated members tirelessly worked to create a beautiful and peaceful final resting place for departed family members and loved ones. Another Jizo, larger and cast in bronze, stands in the columbarium. A mural of Shakyamuni successfully ignoring the attack of demons of delusion at the moment of his enlightenment was painted by the temple's youth, who won first place in a mural contest in 1979. In 2022, Taiheiji will begin construction on the Soto Mission of Aiea Activity Center, a brand new 5,000 square foot building that will also be the home to the Taiheiji Adult Care Center. The old and new artwork that fill this temple are a testament to its lovely interrelationships between Japan and Hawaii, the past and the present. I hope you enjoyed the tour of the Soto Mission of Aiea. At this time, please join me in several minutes of quiet meditation. a life of tranquility, purity, and peace. Embraced by the Buddha's boundless compassion, we shall attain a peaceful state of mind and enjoy a life of tranquility. Having confidence in the Buddha's most excellent teachings, we shall attain a clear state of mind and enjoy a life of purity. Following the Buddha's example to avoid discrimination and to be mutually harmonious, we shall transcend the distinctions between self and others and enjoy a life of peace.
Since the COVID-19 pandemic began earlier this year, life has gotten much more challenging for many of us. The novel coronavirus has forced us to rethink so much of what we do and how we do them. One thing we have learned this year is that wearing a mask can greatly help mitigate the spread of infection. I strongly encourage you to be vigilant in wearing a mask when going out into public. While non-medical grade face masks may not provide us much protection against inhaling already airborne particles that contain the novel coronavirus, they can significantly lower the amount of airborne particles we expel when we sneeze, cough, or simply breathe. Wearing a mask is a physical way of demonstrating to others that we care about them and that we don't want them to get sick in the remote chance that we are ill with COVID-19. Masks and proper social distancing have enabled us to carry on with many of our basic daily activities, going to places like the market. They have helped make it safer for us to be alongside our coworkers and to go to Sunday services at the Otera. For the most part, though, it's probably safe to say that most people have significantly reduced in-person interactions with others. This means no traveling, no going to bars, no dine-in restaurants, no Thanksgiving, or no holiday parties. For me, not having Thanksgiving dinner with my family will be tough. No getting stuffed with turkey, followed by falling asleep in front of the TV. For others, there will be no catching up with family and friends. We always enjoy these times of gathering, but often forget how important they are to have in life. But why is it so important? It's because gatherings, whether casual or formal, large or small, with family or with friends, give us the opportunity to share our lives with one another. We tell our stories and we listen to others share their stories. We develop relationships at these gatherings and over the years, spending time with them, strengthening our bonds with others. The time we spend with our loved ones and friends forces us to stop, even for a while from our very busy daily schedules, to look into the past, experience the present, and share our hopes for the future. So we come to realize that there is a great deal of loss in our lives this year. We are being deprived of these opportunities to spend valuable time with others. We have all heard that social distancing is the new normal. However, we shouldn't have to be socially distant. While physically distancing ourselves from others, we can still take advantage of technologies like the phone, email, and now Zoom to stay in contact with others. Building relationships and maintaining those relationships should be continually fostered. In our Buddhist community, we foster our relationship with others through temple services and activities. The Buddhist practice of observing memorial services and attending bon services have long been excellent ways in which we, together with our family members, acknowledge the importance of our continued relationship with one another and also our departed loved ones and ancestors. I tell my kids all the time, You don't know where you're going in life until you know where you came from. We can reconnect with our roots, our ancestors for guidance, inspiration, or for just reassurance. The connection we share with the rest of our family, with friends, are all very important. As my wife Jamie and I have raised our two children, Remy and Reagan, we have noticed how they are always trying to be independent. Even from such a young age, my son Reagan was eager to show that he could do things by himself. With my daughter Remy, doing things by herself wasn't enough. She wanted to do things perfectly by herself. I guess trying to establish one's independence from their parents starts from a young age and is just part of growing up. When our children have proven over time that they can take care of themselves, we feel better about having them leave our nest to live on their own. However independent my children have become, we always emphasize the importance of the connection that they have with others. We depend on others to be a part of our lives. They don't actually have to do anything for us, but the fact that they are in our lives makes a difference. In Buddhism, we learn about our dependence on others. We are connected to all things around us. In English, the bonds that tie us together is called interconnectedness or interdependence. In Japanese, the word that describes this is kizuna. I joke with my children, telling them, Remy and Reagan, you need to be grateful for daddy taking care of you because without me, you'd have a really hard time surviving out there in the real world. Besides using interdependence as a means of teaching others how we must be thankful for what others have given us and shared with us over time so that we are able to live the lives we live, we should strive to understand the more basic principle of how we are all connected in some way, shape, or form. We cannot exist alone. We are bound by our surroundings in both time and space. We are connected to the flowers around us, for we see their beauty and smell their fragrance. We are connected to our spouse, children, relatives, and friends. Our thoughts, words, and actions affect others like ripples sent outwards in circles when dropping a rock into a pond. Let's examine the ripples we create when dropping a stone in a pond. The initial ripples are small, but as they travel outwards, they create these circles, becoming larger and larger in diameter. We may make small, seemingly harmless remarks about a person who irritates us. Over time, though, we may look back and realize that we've made a simple remark that has slowly rippled out not to one person, but to 50 people, to 100 people. All of a sudden, realize that this harmless remark is known by many people, and worse yet, the target of this remark now knows how your true feelings are about them. Perhaps we should better focus our energy on doing small random acts of kindness to help others. Over time, these small things become the marker of our character. Theoretically speaking, we are all connected by this Buddhist understanding of interdependence. Theoretically, isn't it possible for the air coming out of our mouth as we breathe to travel out the door, join forces with the passing breeze, and have a part in creating a storm somewhere else? Not likely, but theoretically, we need to pay attention to these things when applied to our daily lives. Why do we need to pay attention to interconnectedness? We must awaken to the big picture. As Dr. James Austin writes in Zen and the Brain, interbeing is the whole big picture. It relates to this piece of paper back to the pulp, to the logger who fed his family by felling the tree, back through the parents who raised him, and on through the wheat fields which nourished them all, to the rain, clouds, and soil and sunshine that made possible all these and everything else. I'd like to show you how we are all connected to each other. So I'm actually going to use this piece of paper and I'm going to draw a line on this piece to symbolize a connection I have with somebody. Okay. Let's start with my wife. Hi, Jamie. That's Jamie. That line represents my wife, Jamie. And there's my two children, Remy and Reagan. Okay, and I've add a few more lines here. And that's my mom and dad and my in-laws. All right. And I have a lot of friends, so I'm gonna draw several lines to represent my friends. Okay. See that? Those are all my friends. Oh, and I have more, but I can't write them all here. Okay, and these lines, I'm gonna draw a line. Oh, wait, I cannot forget this line here. That's my second grade teacher, Mrs. Hirano, and she was actually my kindergarten teacher. So she gets another line there. So she affected me twice. And okay, but anyway, if I draw a little bit to all these lines to represent all the people who have come into my life, and I realize that every person in my life helps me to helps create who I am today. I realize that there's a lot of people in my life, and I just wanted to show you how everybody affects me in my life. Okay, and see how all of you have affected me. All the people in my life have affected me. Yeah, all those lines. We are like paintings. Our identity is made up of the thousands of small, indelible brush strokes left by those around us. While we are part of the big picture, part of the whole universe, where our every action impacts others, all the connections we have with others have also affected us. All these things make us uniquely who we are. There is only one of me. Even if I searched every square inch of this world, I might find somebody who is almost as good looking as me. I might find somebody who is almost as funny as me. But I'll never find another me. In the end, we are all equally the same, yet equally unique. And this is something that is very Zen, something worth taking a moment to think about and to try and understand. The dynamics of how we should strive to live in harmony with one another is based upon this understanding. So let's revisit the notion of small random acts of kindness made over time. If we can give even a little, share, or even help someone just a little bit, even a little bit over time, we build a strong character, like a mason building a house brick by brick. These positive acts that positively affect those around us also makes us uniquely who we are. The ongoing pandemic has significantly affected our relationships with others. However, the human spirit is to overcome these hurdles in life. Even if we can't meet our loved ones or friends in person, let's call them on the phone, write an email to them, send them a letter, or even think about them kindly. This way, until the end of this pandemic, perhaps the new normal of physical distancing can at least be endurable. Let's stay in touch with one another. We can be together apart.
Thank you for watching today. Before you go, please enjoy this short performance by Soulmate.